Yo, what's going on guys? I'm AT and today we finally got the remaining cards revealed for the starter decks coming out soon that we get before Asia for OP11. So I thought it would be cool to do a little bit of a tier list on some of the cards that we can add into GY lore. Let me know what you guys think and comment down below as well what you guys think you will want to add into your deck or what has potential. So let's start off with OP11. We got this veggie right here. It is I'll probably put it up on the screen since it's going to be hard to see here, but it is a blocker, 2 costs, 1000 power, which is great for GY lore because personally I think we need 2 costs inside this deck. It just makes it easier to lead effect, and the fact that this guy protects your cards alongside with what we are using right now is Tashiki basically. I think we must have this guy in the deck. Alright, personally I'm going to put 4 copies, that's for sure. He is also nice to combo off with Cavendish, so you can play Cavendish for 5. Obviously it only costs 3 because you get 2 on back, and you can just drop a veggie. You don't even have to leader effect or do any blocker lore shambles to get a Tashigi out. You just go Cavendish straight into the veggie. If someone removes the Cavendish, you just bring him back out next turn with some extra bodies, or if they get rid of Veggie, that's fine as well. So I think you're gonna have to run 4 copies of this guy. It is broken. Like everyone was saying that this Veggie is mid, but honestly it gives you so much more sustain in the GY lore deck. I'm gonna run 4. Next up we have Zeus. This one is actually kind of a interesting card. It is a 2 cost. Once again, we love 2 cost in GY lore, and it's also a 2k counter, so you can play this guy out and his effect is basically KO a 5 cost and you take a card from your life to your hand, top or bottom, which is actually pretty good. You don't really trash a life, so you're not losing resources, but you gain the card into hand, and then you can loop this guy back. So he's a 2k that stays on board that already KOs a 5 cost, and then you take him back and he's a 2k for later. So I think it's going to help a lot with matchups like some of the aggro ones. For example, Belobedi. If you just get rid of their Karasus, it helps so much. Yes, I know you are losing life against something that aggro, but if they don't really have anything to be swinging at you with, it is pretty good. Same with Bonnie as well. The 5 costs like Cavendish, Smoker, or anyone that runs 5. Even if you're lucky enough to run into a GP that doesn't have a stage out for whatever reason, you can just get rid of a Sanji Pudding. So personally this one can be a 3 to 4 copy. I'm probably gonna try 4 just because it is a 2k counter, but you could probably also run 3 or 2, but I'm gonna try 3 to 4 copies. That's probably where I'm at with it. Now we're going to jump into the new starter deck cards. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so we got first one up is Kid Killer. This one is a 2 cost searcher, right? So pretty much on play, look at top 5 for a supernova, and right now in the OP10 meta EBO2 we're running Carmel, which I really like for drawing, right? But it's a 2 cost that you can play out, but this one's a searchable one. The only downside really with Carmel is that it's not searchable, but it does have a good trigger, whereas this one doesn't have a trigger. It has a on your opponent's attack, trash this character, set up to 1 Dawn card as active. That's a very rare use case, I think, for this card. I do run Room, which is a 1 cost, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be running that in OP11 considering how tight the deck list is. But I probably put this as a consideration for 1 to 2 copies. You can maybe go 2 or 3, honestly. It's kind of like between these two. Because realistically it's kind of like Bonnie because it's a 2 cost to search, but it's on play, right? So the 1 cost Bonnie is a bit better into Blackbeard, where it's an activate main. So I personally may consider 1 or 2 copies, maybe 2, but it's also really fighting for other 2 cost slots with this Veggie and the Zeus. So I'm not 100% sure on it. Probably will test it out, see if it's worth running. Obviously more searches is better, right? So I'll stick with this as maybe 2 copies for me. Next up, we're going to go into the new 10 drop Law and Beppo. So I've been wanting a good boss monster character for the deck for a while now. So when I saw this card, I was like, oh yes, we finally got something, but I'm not too sure how it will do inside this deck. It does have a good decent effect, which is on play, rest up to one of your opponent's characters, and then that character will not become active during the next refresh phase. I believe you can also target a rested character already, so that's kind of okay. And then the best part of it, honestly, is if your opponent has 2 or more rested, you gain plus 2k until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So more sustain, really. But right now, I'm not exactly sure. So I might put him in the need testing. There is potential to run him at 1 or 2 copies. Just for the top end. If you're kind of safe and you're behind Kid, stuff like that, then it might be an okay card to run at 1 or 2. Just deciding, do I think I'll keep it in the need testing for now. Once the sim updates, I'll definitely try it out. So we're gonna put that one there. Next up, we have X-Drake, which is just a 5 cost 6k. No, actually no, it's a 5 cost 5k. And on play, rest up to one of your opponent's 5 cost characters or less, and then set up to a 1 Don active at the end of its turn, which is more better for Bonnie. A lot of people are saying, like, you know, this can replace the 3 cost X-Drake, but X-Drake is activate main, which is nice for Blackbeard. But I do agree that on play is a bit better. But do I really want to cheat out this character just to rest something? So I'm potentially losing life, even though we have somewhat more sustain, but I don't know, I think I'll put that in the knee testing. Personally, I think it's better in Bonnie, but it might be something we can consider. Alright, next up, we have a spicy one. This one was shown, I think, earlier today, and it is a yellow super rare from the Yamato deck. So I'm luckily, I pre-ordered 2 Yamato and 2 Bonnies, just in case. Never know what I might steal from yellow and green card pool. So this card is, if you have 2 or less life, your leader gains plus 1000 power, which is pretty good. And it's a your turn static effect, which is pretty good. And I think personally the thing that made me look at this card a little bit more is just the fact that it has a activate main, which is you may return 2 total of your currently given Don cards to your cost area rested. This character gains rush and plus 1000 power during this turn, which is actually pretty good, because there's a lot of times where I use my characters, I stick 2 Don on swing and then use leader effect to take that character back just to get 2 rested Don for Cavendish. So having a card that just gives me that Don back so I can use for Cavendish and becomes rush plus 1k as well, I am really considering putting this guy in. Obviously he's not searchable, so you'd probably go for 2 or 3 copies. I really do feel like I should keep it in the knee testing, but it is a very nice consideration, and I think it might be pretty good, honestly. Okay, and so that's pretty much the OP11 stuff. Now we're gonna add the OP12. So there's been quite a few nice little reveals, like this Bonnie and the Lammy. So we're gonna start off with the cards that were already shown here. We got the 5 cost secret rare Bonnie. So originally I thought I was gonna put a lot of this card in, but just the fact that it has to be if you have 8 or more rested cards, then you get to draw 2 trash 1, and then you can set 1 Don as active. So this actually, I don't think it works well in Bonnie, but better for GY Law, just because if we play the 7 cost Law, that's already 7 Don rested, and then you swing with a character, and then you can leader effect take this out, and it's a blocker, which is great. 5 cost 6k, and then you get to draw 2 trash 1 and get a Don active, which you can stick onto your leader and just swing 7, right? Which is pretty good. I think I might put this at 2 to 3 copies. I have been testing it a little. It can be a bit awkward, the 8 rested cards. Another thing, obviously, is some combos with this, which I'll talk about a bit later. But it is a blocker, and I think the one good thing about this card for me is if we want to play GY Law up into the rotation, if we lose blocker Law and it doesn't get reprinted in a new block number, we can just use this Bonnie instead. So for now, I think 2 to 3 copies is pretty good. I have tested a little bit with proxies at 3 copies. It's not bad, but it could potentially be dropped to 2 just because of the 8 rested card factor, which you got to think a lot of before doing it. So I'll leave it in 2 to 3 copies. Next up, we got the GOAT. We got Kuma, secret rare, which was more stealing for us. It is an on-play trash 1 card from your hand, and then you get to add the top card of your deck to your life pile. So more sustain. Once again, we need that in GY Law. The heal is absolutely awesome. It is a 6 cost 7k, which is not bad stat line. And then during your opponent's turn, when KO'd, add the top card of your deck to your life pile, which is awesome. So technically it's a double heal. Another thing you can, I forgot to mention actually just then, this character gains +2 cost until your opponent's next end phase during the on play part, which is awesome for black because it's going to be an 8 cost that they got to try and get rid of. So I think I would run probably 3. Just because it's not searchable. Once again, anything not searchable, I think you usually go 3 copies, pretty fair, and you see it pretty often. So I actually really like this card. And then the big king boy here, we got Mihawk, which is absolutely busted. So this card is a blocker. So my thought process is potentially a way to replace 8-drop Kid, even though they don't get to target it because they can just swing at face. But it is an 8 cost 8k, but the blocker and on play, which is the big bit, set up to 4 Don is active. Then you may not play a character with an original cost of 7 or more for the rest of the turn, which is fine. We don't really need that. But the 4 Don, I had a crazy ass turn where I tried this. This card was basically, I was at 10 Don. I had a Cavendish on board and like 1 searcher or blocker or something. I can't remember exactly, but a Cavendish was on board. 10 Don, you play this guy for 4, so you still got 6 Don. You drop a Kuma to heal, so that's 2 characters out already, right? So that's all 10 Don. You swing with Cavendish, you get a Don back, 2 Don back, and then you play Beji, the 1 cost for 1. You put the blocker Bonnie into life, or any other supernova for that matter. Leader effect, take back the Beji, play out this Bonnie, draw 2 trash 1, get 1 Don active. So basically you got out a character from life without losing life because you played the Kuma beforehand, and then you also got the Mihawk out. So you got 3 characters out in 1 turn. Pretty busted. So I think this guy, once again, because it's not searchable, at least 3 copies. Oh, actually, correction. He is searchable with the next card here. We got Perona. So this Perona, so maybe he could go to 2. This could potentially go to 2. Still in 2 to 3 copies, right? So 2. Yeah, so this Perona is basically on play if your leader, let me quickly find this again actually, just to make sure I'm saying it correct. So if your leader has slash attribute, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal 1 slash attribute character or green card event, put it in your hand and the rest at the bottom. So it is a searcher, which is nice because 1, our leader Law is slash, so we can use her, and every single Law character in our deck is slash. That just makes her search half the deck. We can find Mihawk, we can find all our Laws, 7-drop Law, blocker Law, Cavendish as well, and even X-Drake 2k counter because they're all slash. So she can find half the deck. I think we can go for, honestly, like an extra split. So my thought process is you run 3 or 4 copies of her, you run 4 copies of the Luffy Searcher, which is staple, and maybe 2 of the Bonnie Searcher, or even 2 of this Kid Killer now, instead of the Bonnie. So having 10 searches is pretty good. I think I will try that out. Especially the fact that we can find Mihawk too. So that's really, really handy. One of the new OP12 cards that just got shown. So we've been seeing a lot of stuff where it's like boosting up leader power, which is great. So let me just quickly find the effect because it's not translated on this one here. So activate main, you may rest this character. One of your supernova type leaders gain plus 1000 power until the end of your opponent's next end phase, which is good. And trigger is if your leader is supernova, play this card. So we could actually stack her into life just to get her out. Use the activate main and then take her back as well, which is awesome. We can loop this with blocker law and leader effect. So you could potentially be a 7k leader in one turn. And that just helps once again with sustain is what we need as GY law. This one's a tough one. I don't know how many copies we would run of this. I'd say 2 to 3. Just because it's searchable, it's easy to find, and then realistically I don't think you're ever going to play more than 2 unless you're really super ahead or something, but you can just play 1 and recycle it over and over and over again. So I think 2 copies is actually, yeah, let's put it here, 2 copies, 1 to 2 copies I think is pretty reasonable for this card. Obviously you don't really care too much I think about lucky triggers with her, but since we can stack life, you can just put it there early game, like say turn 1, just play, I don't know, a Beji, chuck her in life, they swing at you, you play her, bam, you got 4 cost on board already. That's actually pretty good. Actually, maybe for early game plays, maybe 2 to 3, maybe 3. We'll see, gotta wait until the sim updates and we'll try it out. Seems pretty good. We got the I love you card here, I believe that's what it is. Give me 1 second guys, sorry, gotta search it up. Okay, so this one is a counter. Up to one of your leader or characters gains plus 2000 power during this battle. Then if you have 2 or less cards in your life area, which we do as our leader quite often, add 1 law, Trafalgar law, from your trash to your hand. That's actually pretty good. It just means we can recycle blocker law over and over again, or even a 7 cost law. So I think 1, honestly 1, maybe 2 copies is pretty okay for events in this deck. Usually I don't think we need too much. The only thing about this one is it's not a supernova, so it's not searchable for us, which is unfortunate, but I think just naturally drawing into it is fine. Other than that, yeah, no, I think it's just pretty good for cycling, which is nice. And then we got the last one that I've seen recently, which is Lammy. That is not meant to go in there. Why? How do I get her back out? I can't get her back out. Okay. So Trafalgar Lammy is a 1 cost, right? Counter, which is 2000. And on play your turn, up to one of your Trafalgar law gains plus 2000 power during this turn. So like, I think you can cheese a lot with this card, especially with the leader effect, right? So you can play her, get plus 2. Leader effect, take her back, play her again, get another plus 2. So you get plus 4k for 2 don, which is kind of busted. You can probably use this for going lethal. You can also bounce it back with blocker law and just play it again and then use leader effect, take her back to hand. So you got plus 4k regardless on one of your characters, which probably like say 7 cost law or your leader. It's unfortunate that it's only for your turn, I believe. Let me double check that again. Yeah, during this turn. So it's more of a going lethal or I need to swing big at a character type of card. It's not bad. It's a very, very tight list with all these like really good cards for the deck. So I think I'm just going to say 1 to 2 copies. It is a 2k counter, so it's not bad regardless. But it's a bit hard to gauge all the ratios without having any of the cards on sim yet. So hopefully we get an update soon. Let me know your thoughts down below, what you think about these cards, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list, and I'll catch you for the next one. Peace.